going to show you a little trick I learned on how to make an input-output table, and we call it magic numbers. But Brandon and I also talked about there's lots of different ways you can utilize this same magic. So you just start with a blank screen. The first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to create two different rectangles on your screen. So you click the Shapes button and you click the more narrow rectangle off to the side. Okay, and then you click and drag to about halfway across your screen. Then we want to make it a specific color. So you click your arrow and select the rectangle, then the color box will pop up. You want to make both your fill and your line the same color so that it's all red. Then once that's done, make sure that you right click, go down to lock, and put lock in place, because later you're going to have to group some things and you don't want to accidentally move your rectangle. So we start that same process again, rectangle, narrow rectangle, click and drag to create your rectangle on the rest of your board, arrow, select that rectangle. Now color, pick a different color than the first rectangle, fill and line the same thing, click to your arrow, right click, lock, lock in place. Now for magic numbers or input-output tables or number rules, there's lots of different names for it. The next thing I do is I insert a picture. I had previously gone to Google and found this fun input-output table or input-output machine. I put it in the middle. This as well, one, you're going to want to lock it in place, but then you also want to right click, and that's not going to let me do it. So I'm going to unlock it. First, I'm going to order it. Right now it is in the front, but later we'll move it to the front because it'll need to be there. So now for the magic. You're going to input some text. For my case, since I'm doing input-output tables, I'm going to do the rule of ×2. So I'm going to start with the number 4. I'm going to click off of that to the arrow, click it again to get my color box to pop up. I want to change that 4 to whatever color the opposite rectangle is. So in this case, I'm going to choose that blue. Then I'm going to go back to text and create a new text box right next to that 4. And then whatever my output is. So in this case, it's ×2. So 4 times 2 would be 8. I'm going to click my arrow so that I can reselect the 8. This time you want to put your output in the identical color to the first box, because then it makes it invisible. Okay? Now, we want those two boxes to travel together. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight those two boxes, and then what we want to do is group them. So if you go to Format, Group, it will tell you group. You also can use the shortcut Control-G, but you're going to group them together. And if you notice, now they're all within one box. Okay, this is the point where we're going to go back to my nice little funny machine here, because now this text is in front and we want to make sure that this machine is always in front. So I'm going to right click there, go down to Order, and click Bring to Front. Now what this does is this allows us to take that 4, the students can click on it, drag it through the machine. I always make some funny machine noises while it's traveling, and out the other side. And so that 4 essentially disappears and this new number magically appears. And so they have to decide, okay, how did we go from 4 to 8? And typically, obviously, there's more than one number, because that rule could be +4, it could be ×2. And so as they drag more options, they'll eventually notice the pattern or the rule. You could also change this to do synonyms, antonyms. You could do rhyming words. You would just kind of change out how you do your text so that it changes between one color to the other. So using the same idea as the math input-output table, we can use that same exact template for different vocabulary strategies. So in this case, we're going to show rhyming words. So you'll insert a text box and insert a word like wish. Select the arrow so that you can select it, make it that opposite color blue. Then we need a new text box right next to it. This time we'll put in dish, select off, select back on to make it invisible with that same red color. Then you're going to select both boxes. You'll see that even though the dish is invisible, you can tell it's there by the double box. Control G will group them. It turns into one box. Then students can simply make sure to send your machine back to the front. So students can simply drag wish through the magic machine, out the other side, and the rhyming word shows up on the other side.